I'll just say, and I'll give the floor to you for a second, Shasky, but last night to me was sad.
Oh, 1,000%.
It was sad.
All right, so I know you're not into like the superhero stuff, but do you ever seen like a show where they have an alternate universe or a multiverse?
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Exactly. All right, so bear with me as I kind of lay this out. In my mind, and I know you disagree with me on this, okay? And a lot of people are going to point to other markets and whatever. I'm just talking about for this market. In my mind, I'm watching that game, and all I keep thinking about, because I flipped over right after the Giants game, had the iPad and the Giants game on separate televisions. And so I saw myself through the prism of Evan Giddings, who works here at the station. Right. I saw myself through the prism of Kyle Madsen. I was envisioning an alternate universe where the Giants never built AT&T Park and they were getting choked out financially, and their crap owner was systematically breaking the team down and doing things so they could leave. And I saw an alternate universe where, whatever you want to say, those were Giants fans, and the A's had built a stadium and they were staying and my team was leaving. Giants tried to leave in 77 to Toronto. Giants tried to leave in the 80s. They tried to build a stadium in Santa Clara. And then in, obviously, 92, they were going to be the Tampa Bay team, which you saw last night on the field.
Well, yeah, so that vote got approved to go to St. Petersburg.
Exactly. I saw an alternate universe, to me, where that was my Giants leaving my market, where that was my Giants, and I wasn't able to share those familial bonds and pass that on to the next generation of the Shasky family. And so it made me incredibly sad, Bonte, to see that, because all I kept thinking about was, and I get it, you know me, I'm Mr. Business, I understand it. The business of sports has now eliminated whatever communal pride, civic pride, all of the things that we talk about when it comes to our teams and what it means to us to wear Oakland across the front for someone like Joe Spadoni, Kyle Madsen, whomever. It's all about the corporate dollars. It's all about the television dollars. The fans' dollars who's taking their kids is really a drop in the bucket. And it makes me sad because I understand it and I acknowledge it, but it's hard to swallow.
Well, this is what's sad about everything to me. First of all, I was only 9-10 years old when the Giants were on their move to St. Petersburg, Florida. So I really didn't get it. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody in my household outside of myself watched Giants baseball. My grandma wasn't a sports fan. My mom wasn't a big sports fan. I was the only one who was watching the Giants. And I was like, wait, the Giants are leaving San Francisco? Like, I didn't grasp it. I didn't understand everything that happened there. And then, of course, Peter McCow and Larry Bear, the Safeway Company, everybody keeps the Giants in San Francisco. Now you got a stadium. They're not going anywhere. They're rooted here in San Francisco. Giants aren't going anywhere. Hell, they may be the Bay Area team. But I watched that game last night, and that vote passed in Nevada earlier today. You know,
they waited and waited, and they got enough people to switch votes to where before they voted,
4 hours basically before the reverse boycott.
God, it makes me it keep going.
So I see 27,000. I see nearly 28,000. And originally, I texted this to the thread. I said, "Damn, we only got 27,000 on a day like that." I get it. It's a Tuesday night. You're fighting for your team. You're chanting "Sell the team." I see Spadoni with his T-shirt on. And I said, damn, only 28,000. But then again, I thought, how many fans have been kicked in the groin over and over and over? And I can't blame them for having a sellout, for not having a sellout. I can't blame A's fan for not wanting to go to the Coliseum last night. If you see, I wonder how many fans were affected by that vote alone saying, damn, they still passed a vote? Well, what's the point of me going out there to chant "Sell the team"?
Well, and a lot of people I saw, I'll let you continue. Hey, I don't want to put even a penny in this man's pockets.
Why would you? And then the PR spin from their PR team saying that we're donating all proceeds to the community. Like how? Like how tone deaf can you be? So we're going to talk to Casey Pratt at 920 about this and get the lowdown because I want to know now what happens. The Raiders had an extra year. I was listening to Spadoni's, right? They had another year in Oakland and felt very lame duckish. Felt like, really, why are you playing in Oakland?
After they almost went to Carson.
Go play to UNLV. Yeah. Just get out of the state. What are the A's going to do?
I don't know.
What are they going to do? Are they going to really come back for a lame duck season in Oakland?
You know what sucks, B, as you're talking about, and I know people are going to say, and look, Fisher's going to say, they rallied the troops. This isn't Joe. I'm pretending to be Fisher here. They rallied the troops and they only got 27,000.
Right.
This is why we have to leave. This is why our business model is broke. When that completely erases all of his culpability
Right.
of what he's done for 20 years. But B, it's hard to ignore. And I know you're going to disagree. You're going to point to the White Sox and you're going to say, yeah, look, it works there and blah, blah. It's hard to make an argument right now for the Bay Area. Forget SF or Oakland, just the Bay Area. Both downtowns look like ghost towns.
Yeah.
Corporations are leaving left and right.
Right.
Residents can't afford to live here anymore. Inflation through the roof, taxes through the roof, fentanyl crisis, homeless crisis. You know, corporations leaving the state because
But
of
what unites people?
sports. It's the last place where we gather in communal spaces. When was the last time you saw the Bay Area community gather in the way that we did for the Warriors? I can't think of anything.
That's what I'm telling you.
We didn't do that for a mayor.
And-
We didn't do that for a governor. We didn't do that for a president.
That's why I still believe if the A's had done this right, if the A's had done right by their fans, and Fisher had done right by this organization, and he showed his face, and he showed that, hey, I'm not like, just get in front of a camera and act like you're fighting for a stadium.
But
and
that
he
would
wouldn't
be-
do that.
He
And
doesn't have a spine.
He doesn't, exactly.
Or a soul.
So that's why they're leaving. If you had an owner with the spine and a soul who is really dedicated to this market, I still believe it's a 2 baseball region. But it's not, who cares? Like, at this point, we're arguing about nothing because they're gone.
Well,
they're gone. And now to anybody who doesn't believe that it's a 2-team market, you know what? Your point is proven. They're leaving. They're leaving because they can't get nothing done. But I still believe if you build something, because of all those things you just said, Shasky, what unites people? A sporting event.
Of course.
A winning baseball team will bring people out from anywhere because people want to be
A winning
around the
sports
scene.
team.
A winning sports team
Yes, that I
with
agree with.
star players.
Yes.
You got to have players. You got to have a name on the back of the jersey. You got to have flair. You got to have charisma. You got to have all those things on your baseball team because people still struggling to go to Giants games right now because they don't have that star.
And that's kind of my point. Or the money. Like I'm coaching all these kids right now, and these kids are diehard baseball fans. Their family is spending money on camps to put them in camps during summer school, because summer is just, parents are working. They're going to and from this job to that job. Everybody's got a side hustle. Do you know one person, Bonte, in the Bay right now who doesn't have some form of a side hustle?
Yeah, you got to have a side hustle.
Because it's so hard to live here. And it's just... It sucks, man. It just sucks. I feel like where we're at right now, and I guess my bigger question is this, like, what does an owner, owner X, what does that owner owe a community? What does that owner owe a fan? Do they owe him anything?
Well, look at Fisher. I wonder if they do owe anything. I think the owner if you own a team and you get a guy like yourself, get a guy like me, Spadoni, Lubman, who loves
we're
their
hooked
teams.
on crack.
You owe us all your effort. You owe us all out. I'm going to try to help this baseball team win. I'm going to try to help this organization win. If I own the baseball team in the community, I owe the community everything that I got. I got to give you everything. I got to pump in investments. I got to pump in resources. I got to do whatever I got to do to appease the fans.
Yeah.
Because you could say it's a drop in the bucket, getting the ticket to the parking. But boy, when I'm an owner, and I get into that suite and I kick my feet up and I look around the yard or I look around the arena, I look around the football stadium and I see that it's packed. But guess what? I'm a happy person.
But that's also professional pride and good business.
And this guy has no professional
exactly.
pride. Think about this.
Exactly.
Casey Pratt's going to join us. He's been all over this situation. Casey Pratt, ABC 7 KGO. We're going to have him on again. He was out there. A lot of people were out there. But Casey Pratt, look at what he basically summarized here. The Athletics are trying to sell a huge investment in Las Vegas, a $1.5 billion stadium. But in reality, they're getting this. Free rent on the Strip.
Yep.
$380 million from Nevada Clark County.
Yep.
Huge Navy rights deal. $175 million from the GLCI fund. And a waived MLB relocation fee. So where's the investment? John Fisher was able to get a free handout.
I know. Now,
it's unbelievable.
Now, let's remove baseball team and let's say retail outfit. Let's just say, for example, like Joe's clothing store. Would any municipality bend over backwards like that for any other business?
Absolutely not.
Bonte's Deli, Joe Spadoni's plumbing shop.
I love it.
Right? Like, no, I'm serious. And this is where, look, man, I was listening to David Sampson, and he made an interesting point regarding all these stadiums. We always say privately owned, right? Privately owned. Well, do you know what one of the negatives is by the cheap owners about privately owned?
What's that?
I have to pay property tax.
Yeah, that's
I have to keep up the infrastructure. They want the freest of handouts,
Oh, I
and they
know.
want to have shelter.
yep.
It's absurd to me. It's absurd. Meanwhile, real small business owners, like how many small business owners,
Right.
whether it's retail, restaurant, pick the industry that we come across who are like, yeah, I'm at my business every single day and I'm struggling to make it.
There's a lot.
And yet
Just
this
look at the
guy
city.
is going to get millions and millions of dollars,
So-
not for public money,
Right.
so that he can have private profit at the end of the day and shove it into his own pockets.
So that's why Fisher not showing up, not coming out, not even speaking to the fans. The fans not really wanting to come. It's a nasty situation. It is the end of what has been a historic run in Oakland.
Was that a
with
funeral
the
last
Raiders.
night?
Oh, absolutely. I had to turn the game off for a second. It's like I can't watch this.
I
Vince
felt so
Contronio
bad.
and Dallas Brayton had to try to skate around it. You hear the chants through the TV. You see the sell T-shirts. You don't even get 28,000. It's a depressing state of affairs. And the stadium, by the way, when they show all the shots of the stadium, the concrete inside, the terrible concourses, the outdated concourses, the outdated restrooms, the outdated turnstiles,
Yeah, but that
the
should not
outdated
be,
seats.
But that shouldn't be on the Oakland resident. Joey, you're an Oakland resident.
It's not. I'm not saying that's
Oh,
on the
no, no,
Oakland
I know,
resident.
but
That's on
sucks-
the ownership
Exactly.
group for not investing into
Exactly.
the stadium. I'll never forget doing the pregame Raiders show there,
Exactly.
and we look back at this Thursday Night Football, and the Raiders were hosting the Chiefs, and they said they're hosting the Kansas City Chiefs Thursday Night Football, and look at this place. Look at this place. I took that one elevator to the press box over and over and over again, where you got to wait 15 minutes for it. I mean, it's just everything about it. In an era of new stadiums, everybody's getting a new damn stadium. Everybody.
Well, this is what I'll give someone like, so I'm looking at like the current owners, right? Like Jed York, he basically got a public stadium,
Yep.
right? Like that's what ended up happening.
Yep.
You know what? I'll give him credit. He's paid for just about every single player that we've all wanted to retain except DeForest Buckner. And that was just a bad trade, right? But Bonte, have they not paid for every single guy?
They spent money.
As bad
They spent money.
as bad as maybe that deal might have been for some of the
They
public,
spent money.
they stayed in the market and they do spend money. Joe Lacob, if they don't build that stadium, there's no way in hell they can help finance all of that luxury tax bill.
Can I say this, though, real quick about Jed? It's the least he's going to do is spend money on the team and pump in resources on the team. Like, to me, when people
You
say,
don't get
oh,
credit
man,
for that?
That's the bare minimum.
Well, I see a lot of
You know,
people that get
well,
free handouts.
they
that
do
don't
get a
wanna-
lot of handouts,
that
and that's
don't wanna-
why they get right out of town.
Okay.
The bare minimum for an owner is investing back into your football team or your baseball
Okay.
team or your basketball team. Do we love them for that? Because there are a lot of lame duck owners who just
cheap.
want to cat
Yes,
cheap,
yes.
want to do the bare minimum, don't want to pay anything. That's fine. But if you're the 49ers, you're the owner of the 49ers
I mean,
in
you're
this
sitting
history.
on a mint.
Yeah, the bare minimum is pay the players.
But I do believe, to me, and I know you could say, Joe, it's like the old Chris Rock, oh, hey, I pay child support. You're supposed to pay child support. Like you're getting credit for something you're supposed to do. But Jed's done it, man, and I just want to acknowledge that because we give a lot to Joe Lacob, rightfully so,
Jed
and
does do it.
I think Jed has at least stood by what he said. John Fisher, if Oakland gave him everything he wanted, wouldn't we all be like, yeah, but I still don't believe that you're going to pay players,
right? No.
Because why? You have a 20-year history of being completely inept and cheap at every turn.
So that's why I'm not surprised that only 27,700 plus attended the game last night. Why would you? Why would you, after 20 years of just getting beaten down, players getting traded left and right for financial resources? You look at the payroll now. You look at the stadium. You look at the way you've honored you honored a Hall of Famer, Dave Stewart, one of the best pitchers in your franchise history, on 9/11, a day where NFL football was being played. A day when football was being played. And you botched that one because Stu was lost on the situation. It's like, I haven't heard anything. I mean, it's just...
An Oakland legend, by the way, too.
Legend.
Of
Oakland
all
legend.
the people that you should be propping up, him and Ricky Henderson, for what they mean to the community being natives,
Yeah.
black men playing baseball for the home team.
No statues. Like, come on, dude. Like
No statues.
seriously? Like him, Eck, being from Fremont?
Thank
Are you
you.
kidding me? One of the greatest
Thank you.
closers in the history of the game? Like, these things, and to your point, Bonte, we just wanted one guy. We had Eric
know.
Chavez for a little bit, but he was always hurt. Like,
still the highest contract
still,
of all time in
still
A's.
the highest, like,
20 years later.
Olsen, Chad, just give us one of them. That's all we were. Just one.
Tejada walked.
Oh my God.
Giambi walked. I mean, the big three: Hudson, Mulder, Zito. I mean, just name it. Look at all the players they had. I mean, gosh, you traded Yoenis Cespedes, your cleanup hitter, for John Lester. Your season just went down to 2, but then you trade Donaldson before the season. You gave Country breakfast out of all the guys pay. You gave him a 3-year, $30 million deal.
What a horrible deal.
I mean, it's just so. Last night to me, and I want to hear from the fans out there. And I like your question, Joe, about the owners. Does owners owe the community or fans anything? I would think so.
Well, I believe that well, you know what? We'll get into it.
We'll get into it on the other side.
I apologize. It really pissed me off last night seeing that. I felt so bad for my friends that love the sport. And I love baseball. I know you love baseball. It really pissed me off.
Well, I remember when the Niners would have Santa Clara, I threw a hissy fit. I was debating whether or not I wanted to jump ship on the Niners just for moving to Santa Clara.
I know.
And then I watched last night. I said, well,
thank God
they're 45 minutes away from
know.
me. I'm able to still watch my team and all the history of it and everything like that.
And the NFL wanted the Raiders to move in there too. I was like, you know what? I could have accepted that if they were just in Santa Clara.
That would have been fine. But they didn't do that. They didn't do it.
Well, what sucks to me, and like we all acknowledge that it's got to pencil financially. We all acknowledge that. Like living in a region, you have to make X amount of dollars to be able to afford your cost of living. Everyone can relate to that. So we acknowledge that. But what I'm saying is like imagine literally not showing up to work, not caring. That's what this owner has done.
This guy has blatantly told you he does not care.
And he's flirted with everyone to try to extort you at every single turn. He's dealt in bad faith from day one. He's used every other city, town as leverage. And then not only that, you never see his face. You never hear from him. You hire a carnival operator in Dave Cavill to throw some Giants hats on fire. Now, look, the Giants haven't been great stewards either. They share some culpability here. I'm a Giants fan, and I admit this. But like this owner, cry me a river. This owner.
Well, Dave Cavill. Let's start on Dave Cavill throwing away Giants hats, posting up A's posters right in front of Oracle Park. Talking about how many championships they won in front of Bruce Bochy and Larry Bear. We've had them on the show. Everything about this situation is just embarrassing, and it's sad.